After the events of their fight from Saturday, April 6th, Richardson Hitchens is finding himself under the scope of scrutiny when Gustavo Lemos's challenge against him was a lot tougher of a grind than anticipated. Let's talk about the fight and what's next. Saturday, April 6th, is a date that Richardson Hitchens would like to coolly put behind him and move forward in his career. However, the fight that he had against Gustavo Lemos is going to linger like a bee sting for a while. Though coming out ahead on judges' scorecards of 115 to 113 twice, and a third judge's scorecard of 117 to 111, the fight was arguably far closer than the scorecards and the end result as far as judging warranted. Most people feel that Hitchens lost this fight. You can make the argument that he did win the fight fair and square, but it was not an easy occasion for him. And seeing that he had gone into this fight seemingly not focused on the tough Gustavo Lemos, he was focused elsewhere on other champions, notably Devin Haney. And even though this bout was being contested as an eliminator for the IBF title that Subriel Matias currently has, Hitchens was still yet focused elsewhere. Now, Lemos, who had sat pat for a while, had not fought since March of 2022 against Lee Selby, where he scored a TKO victory, and then later came in December of 2023 against Javier Jose Clavero, said he didn't want any fights unless he was fighting a top guy. And in Hitchens, that promise was delivered. But Hitchens appeared to not be ready for the style that Lemos came out, very aggressive, in the Cus D'Amato famed peekaboo style, winging hooks to the head and the body, applying serious and extreme pressure, early on keeping Hitchens against the ropes, where he desperately fought to survive off of the ropes and could not yet in 12 rounds solve the riddle to keep the fight in the center of the ring. He held at will and was never issued any warnings by the referee, and the body attack by Lemos was extremely effective. You could see that Hitchens did wear down, and in some instances he was looking to the clock on the Jumbotron, trying to assess how much time he would have in the rounds, dealing with the pressure that Gustavo was putting on him at all times. I noticed that instead of trying to fight in certain instances on the inside, he just looked to wrap up his opponent. And in some instances, Lemos cooperated by allowing it. But I realized fast what his strategy was. He was resting because he was going to explode with power punches as he could. And seeing that it exacted a lot of energy, especially with him being the man in pursuit over 12 rounds, he would explode several times during a round, winning the rounds decisively, I felt, and rest at other instances so he could recharge himself. Hitchens' cornerman was telling him he needed to throw more punches, but they weren't giving precise instructions on how to deal with the whirlwind opponent that he had before him. One of the things that I felt that he was very dismissive about was looking and assessing the background of Gustavo Lemos, hailing from Argentina. And anyone who has watched boxing and watched fighters who hail from Argentina know that they are a considerable, challenging lot. These men come prepared and they will give their all in the ring. You literally have to put them unconscious to defeat them. And Hitchens had the advantage of judges in this fight. Many people came away from this thinking that he lost. I can make a case for him winning, but I could easily, hands down, and I don't like to do this very often, make this a draw, because he did not fend off Gustavo Lemos. Lemos did as much as he could to take the fight to Hitchens at all times in this fight, and the judges did not credit him enough for those efforts. It's funny how they pick and choose how they want to score these fights with specific fighters. And I have to say that there is bias and prejudice based in their judgments oftentimes when I'm assessing who they choose to favor and not favor in these instances. This fight card was a headliner for Hitchens, his first, and Matchroom/DAZN were looking to give him his day in the sun. But Gustavo Lemos provided an eclipse. He was right there in front of him at all times, and Hitchens didn't seem to have the answers to solve that pressure that he was applying. But the worst of it all is the decisions that the judges made, because if the man didn't win the fight, he didn't win the fight. Stop awarding fighters victories that they did not earn. And in this instance, I feel that Gustavo Lemos earned a victory, coming across the world to fight on foreign land and take on his opponent, emptying the gas tank and providing each and every ounce of his will to perform to win. He deserved the nod, and the efforts were there as well. He did not initiate clinches. He did not look to kill time on the clock. He did not run away. He did not play keep away. He was right in the thick of battle the entire night, and the judges failed him. They did not score the fight for him in those plays. In the areas where Hitchens looked to tie up and kill time and move out of the way of danger, all of that could be seen by everyone ringside. And though it was still a good match because he managed to get his pound of flesh in, it was never enough to stop the train that was Lemos. Now, in the olden days, they used to say, you have to knock the champion out to win. But Hitchens is not a champion, and nor is Lemos. So this was kind of even, heads up. So why did he not garner more consideration? When we watch Pitbull Cruz just a week earlier against Rolly Romero, you could see Cruz was in Romero's crawl the entire time until the fight was stopped. And judges were into that as well, giving him the scores that he deserved, but there was still a judge in that fight that had Rolly ahead, believe it or not. And you see, that's where we're running into these problems in the sport of boxing. We have to get rid of the judges that cannot speak and be accountable in explaining these weird scorecards that they're handing in at the end of matches. The fighters lay too much on the line to not earn their just due at the end of these battles. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know. Discuss further in the comments section. What do you think should be done about these judges? And should Richardson Hitchens give Lemos a rematch? I think so. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.